Okay, the next story is by Buzz Lightyear 27. I'm loving his usernames today. I posted this last night in a similar Ask Reddit thread. A few years ago, I was home alone at night time. I was watching TV in the living room when I heard the doorbell ring. Whenever I hear the doorbell ring, especially when I'm home alone, I'm cautious to answer it, as anyone would be. Unless it's you, I assume you're not that person who's scared of whoever the fuck could be at your door. Like, someone could be there with a machete, you just open, you're like, not today, and just close the door in their face. Whereas I wouldn't even go near the door, I'd just be like,
No
I
soliciting.
mean, it might be a package, but I just get scared of people,
Unless the delivery
especially
thing
when I'm home
literally
alone.
says, your package is basically just round the corner, I ain't answering the door.
But what if somebody hacks it and it's like your package is just around the corner, and then you open it, it's a package with like someone's hand in it, and then
That, that,
somebody jumps around the corner and stabs you. I
that does
watch too
sound
many
like a lot
horror
of effort to
films.
go to.
Eh,
And the hand
I
in the
watch too many
package
horror films.
is somewhat pointless. Why would I open the package with someone's hand in it at the door?
To distract you. Because you see like the blood coming off of it, and you're like, what the fuck? And then you open it, and it's a hand, boo, and then the person jumps around the corner and stabs you.
I don't open parcels at the door, though, generally speaking.
If there's blood on it, you
Even
don't want to
less
take
reason
that
to
shit
open
into
it.
your. Well, you don't want to take that shit into your house, do you? It's blood.
I
It's
don't know,
dripping
the dog,
everywhere.
dog probably wouldn't care.
Well, yeah, the dog wouldn't care. And your dog's snoring on someone's hand. How are police going to prove it wasn't your dog?
Because it won't have been ripped off by a dog.
Boy, if she eats the hand, then you have no proof.
I'm not going to give her the hand. I'd open the parcel and be like, oh, that's a hand. Better call the police.
And by that point, you're so distracted that you haven't noticed the guy crawling in the window.
Good luck crawling in my bloody windows.
Not your window, just a window in general.
Next doors, because then, I'm really not fussed.
Yeah, but then you hear screaming next door and you're like, oh, what's happening?
But I'd just
But
be
okay,
like,
we're
I'd, I'd,
going on a
I'd,
bit
I'd
of a
probably just focus on the fact that there's a hand in the box in front of me. Besides, there's kids next door. They're always screaming.
Oh god, I feel like that Thomas Sanders short thing where he was like narrating my life for a day and he just ignores everything the narrator's saying. That's literally what this is right now.
Hmm?
I've showed you it, I'll show it you again later. Um, yes, okay. I walk up to the peephole without turning on the porch light. Porch light. So they don't know if anyone is actually home or not. Fun fact, people can still tell because of the change in light of the people. If they're looking close enough, that is.
Or they
Um,
generally hear someone walking up to a door.
yeah, but you can be silent. I'm known as Creeping Jesus in my house.
You can be silent, but deadly.
Oh, that is me.
Just like a
That's
fart.
my that's my drag name.
What, silent but
Silent
deadly
but
fart?
deadly. No, not fart. Just silent but deadly. How dare you drag me, Queen? It's really dark, but I can see a small figure, more like a black blob. I don't know its definite shape, and it had to be around 3 to 4 feet, doing like a dancing motion, dipping down and oscillating. Ooh, nice word, oscillating. Its arms outward. I'm trying to imagine how that would look. I'm just imagining like
Like a squid.
a hula dance, sort of, but with arms either side. I don't think that's the imagery they're going for.
Wibbly wibbly.
Wibbly wobbly. Yeah. Think of a person moving their arms like wings gracefully. Oh, okay, so it is like a hula dance, but the arms are in unison. I'm sort of doing the motion right now, even though nobody can see me. It was dark outside, but this figure was more opaque, so I could see this going on. After a few seconds, I stopped looking through the people because it was too freaky to look at. What's someone dancing? I regained some courage and looked back through, and whatever it was gone. To this day, I still don't know what that was, and it freaks me out just thinking about it. And then somebody commented, this is Atheist Redditor, nice username. Um, commented, just to make you and everyone else more nervous about looking for a peephole, you can totally tell when someone looks through the peephole. You can see the light change, even if the lights are dark inside. The blob knew you were there and wanted to show you the creepy dance of his people.
Now I shall now I shall sing the song of my people.
I apologise to any headphone users. That's probably an awful sound. Okay. So what did you think of that one, Beardy? The dancing blob.
I don't know. When was this supposed to have happened?
6 years ago.
No, well, like to the day, because it could just be early trick-or-treaters.
No, I don't think it's to the day, but Reddit doesn't really tell you the specific day it was posted.
Ah, well, in which case I will assume it was around Halloween and say it was just weird trick-or-treaters.
Okay. You are really not going to let me have one of these today, are you?
No. No.
Okay, for anyone with loud upstairs neighbours. This is not from Reddit. This is a random news article I found. I don't know who wrote it.
I don't have weird
My sister and
loud
I were
upstairs
saying,
neighbours either.
you do the ghosts.
There are no ghosts in the house.
Only my sister and I were staying at an old historical hotel in the middle of nowhere in Montana. The building has been in use since the 1800s. My sister loves this place and has
It's
frequented.
historical.
Well, it's America, so that's historical to them. My sister loves the place and has frequented it many times over the years. I was kept up all night by someone pacing around on the hardwood floors in the room above ours. It drove me crazy. In the morning, I asked my sister how she could sleep through it, and she told me that the upstairs of the building used to be a ballroom, but now it's carpeted and empty. The hotel staff confirmed that nobody was up there, and furthermore, if they were, I wouldn't have heard heels on the hardwood floor. Ooh, see that one like is not as scary, but it does remind me a bit of The Shining, which is like
Shh,
one of
we
my
don't want to get
favorite.
sued.
Don't want to get don't mind if I do. That is my favorite Simpsons Treehouse of Horror as well, surprisingly. Come and play with us, Danny. Don't know why those girls were British in an American hotel, but we're not going to question that.
Because apparently British equals creepy. Who knows? That's why all the bad guys are British.
All the bad guys are British because I'm sorry, but British as bad guys is one of the best like stereotypes in movies. I don't care what you say, British can be very creepy. Yes.
Yeah,
I know
we're
what I'm
important
saying.
enough to be the bad guy.
Well, it's
Apparently we're
like
still
what is
threatening,
it?
like we're going to steal our colony back.
Kung Fu
Looking
Panda
at you,
2, was it
America.
Shen Kung Fu Panda 2, was it Shen Li, the peacock? By Gary Osman? Gary
Oldman.
Oldman? Gary Oldman.
Shen.
Yeah, it was right. It was Shen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if he was an evil animal in real life, he would be a peacock. Like, he just embodied that. And the fact that he's British made that character even more creepy. Like, I'm sorry, but I hate to stereotype my own country. Although I'm not really a part of this world,
Oh
so.
yeah, but bad guy. Yeah, but acting as a bad guy actually requires acting skill. So
Are you saying that Gary
Americans
doesn't
can't
have
act,
them?
then quite
I can't
possibly.
just call him Gary. Gary!
Gary.
Oh, God. Gary!
No, not
What's
the
that from?
zombies.
For some reason, I was thinking of, oh my god, they're eating her. And then they're gonna eat me. Oh my god. See, that movie is a classic.
The room.
No, I was about to say it is on par with The Room.
All right.
You tear me apart, Lisa. I did not do it. I did
I did
not.
not eat her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Eat her. Hit her, Billy.
Zombies.
I
What can
did
I
not
say?
hit her. I did not. Oh, hi,
It's
Ma.
it's the room zombie edition.
Oh my god. Oh. Apparently the story didn't load. Okay, that's fine. Okay, the next one I think you might actually like. It's a little bit long, but it's called A Murder of Crows. And it was posted on Reddit, on the No Sleep Reddit, which I actually quite like. Not gonna lie, I look through there sometimes. By Lando Commando. I am loving these nicknames today. These are some hats off to you, Lando Commando, and the rest of the crew. Do you not enjoy these usernames? Am I the only one that gets joy out of people's funny usernames?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay, there was a loud knock on my door, and my 8-year-old, half Labrador, half mutt. See, when Americans say mutt, what dog do they mean?
Non-descriptive.
Like, I always think of one of those, maybe
Half
not a
Labrador,
schnauzer.
half something. We don't know what.
Fair enough. I mean,
I
I
guess.
don't know. I think of one of those like a Yorkie kind of thing, like a Yorkshire Terrier. I don't know. Um, that's what I think of anyway. So we're going to go with half lab, half Yorkie. Is that possible? We
That
don't know.
that would that would that would.
Um,
Well, someone either needs a step ladder or I don't know.
a bigger vagina. Oh Jesus Christ! It's one of
Or just
those
one of those
days.
wearing it
Yeah,
as a penis warmer. One or the other.
maybe. Okay, Macy is the dog's name. Sorry. Started barking. I answered the door to a minor police officer's one. What is Frank? I said. That's my voice in this story. Oh, I've got to think of a voice for Frank. It's all about immersion, really. It is Officer Thomas
It's all about
here.
emulsion.
Emulsion, yes. He said as he lowered his hands towards his gun. Police brutality! And you better shut that dog before I do it for you. I don't know why I've gone these. We're wrong with them. You know she's tame and won't bite anybody. I don't know why I've gone posh. Do I have to do voice?
Well,
I
you're the one
said
who
as I
decided to
reached.
try.
Let's just go with it. As I reached for her collar and put her in the bedroom. Sorry, Officer Thomas, I said. I didn't know you were on duty. Quit being a smart ass, he said.
See, Mr.
Being a
Tumnus.
police officer. I don't know what's happening.
Officer Tumnus.
Officer Thomas. Being a police officer is a 24/7 job. It's like a Welsh.
Oh God, I think.
Okay, we're just gonna go for a generic, deeper voice because I can't just keep on speaking.
Hello,
um,
love.
Quit being a smart ass. That's not much better. Being a police officer is a 24/7 job. I'm always on duty, unlike you and your shitty office job where you work a few hours and are off every weekend. 24/7? You must get some killer overtime then, I said. Eh. Fun fact, I don't get overtime, which sucks.
You just get paid for your time over,
Yeah, but not double like it should be.
or even time and a half.
Yeah. I really want to do a clap and a half then, but I don't know if anybody who watches them watch me. But whatever. Um, you know what I fucking meant, said Frank. What did I do this time, Frank? I asked. Are you going to try to write me a ticket for illegally parking in my own driveway again? The judge loved that one. You mowed your lawn when you knew I would be sleeping, he said. You think it's funny to have to be out protecting your sorry ass on hardly any sleep. I'm not going to warn you again. Are you threatening me? I asked. You're really here because I mowed my lawn at 9 a.m. It got too hot outside. Why don't you just move out already? He said with a smug look on his face. Move, I said. but I've been living here for longer than you. This was my grandparents' house and left it to me. You're the one who should move. Everything was perfect until you moved into the neighborhood. Also, I'm going to go on a little tangent here. People who do yard work or lawn work or whatever you want to call it at 9 in the
Gardening.
morning can fuck off. We had people round the other day. You know I don't sleep a lot as it is. I tend to sleep a lot later in the morning because that's the only time
You do not sleep
I
a
can
lot.
get
You just happen to get up at about 2 in the afternoon.
12, thank you. And that's only on my days off. When I'm at work, bear in mind I get up for work at about 10:30 because I'm at work for 12. So and then I work late into the night. So I set my alarm for about 10:30. And who the fuck wakes me up at 9? People who for some reason have one of those massive ass like industrial leaf shredder things. They're
Leaf
just
shredders?
hacking away at my neighbours. Like, yeah, like the leaf hacker things.
You mean leaf blower?
No. Like a cutting one, like a weed hacker from over the hedge. Like that. A
The
massive
weed
industrial.
hacker.
The weed hacker, friend, the weed hacker. But yeah, it's like one of the massive industrial ones. And turns out my neighbour, because she's elderly, had hired these men to come around and chop and trim her fence, as it very much were.
You
And
chop and trim a fence.
not her fence, her bush. But I didn't really want to say that, Beardy. It's an old woman, have some respect.
Why?
So I'm
It's just
sat
a
there in bed.
privet hedge.
I'm sat there in bed, and all I hear is like somebody's fucking put a dildo on the highest setting and just left it vibrating on a metal desk.
You wouldn't know
All
what
I
that
hear
sounds
for
like, would you?
no, I wouldn't. And that's all I hear until my alarm goes off for work. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I just got to sleep half an hour before I started hearing this noise. Couldn't get back to sleep after, obviously, because my alarm had gone off, so I had to get up. And what do? They finished as soon as I leave the house, which is at about 11 o'clock, to go to the bus stop. They've just finished. Why do people... Why? Okay, I want people...
Because they have other jobs to get to make more money in order to survive like the rest of us.
Yeah, that's fine. Do the loud jobs, like, in the quiet places in the morning?
There's no such thing.
Or, like, not my house? Not
Well,
near
what
my
happens if they
house?
only have things in suburban areas?
Well, that's their problem. Just keep it
It's
away
Christ's
from
laptop.
me. Like, it's constant just work being done around this area, and bitch needs her sleep. Like, I don't get a lot of it as it is. Just be kind to me and start your work after I've gone to work. Start your work at 1 in the afternoon, then I don't care. Yeah? Like,
I bet you
why
care.
don't builders and stuff do work from afternoon onwards?
So you know how you said you were only going to go on a small tangent?
Yes. It was a tangent, though.
But it
Anyway.
wasn't small.
You need to move because I don't like living next to you, he said as he walked away. You need to check with me before you mow your lawn. I need my sleep since I'm a police officer. Oh, God. I hate people like this. I slammed the door shut and lifted my middle finger into the air. Fucking asshole. Then I went and let Macy out of the bedroom. 4 years of this bullshit. 4 long years. When he first moved in, I thought having a police officer living next door would be a great thing. It might make it might make the neighborhood safer. Don't laugh at me.
Laugh all I damn well
Since he would
want.
park his Since he would park his police car outside every night, and I used to think that someone who put their life on the line every day to protect the people from the bad guys would be a respectful, but I thought it said responsible at first. Would be a respectful person and someone I would love to have as my neighbour. I could not have been more wrong.
Indeed.
To be fair, I don't think I'd like living next door to a police officer. Like,
You have Silas near you, don't you?
well, yeah, but he's not like next door. He's like a couple of streets away. Well, he's on the street, but it's like down the little back street. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's not like right next door. I don't think I could deal with right next door. Like I barely cope with having neighbours as it is, let alone police officer neighbours. He thinks he runs the entire neighbourhood. I have never met someone who is a bigger asshole than he is. He thinks that just because he's a police officer that he has authority over everyone at any time. Even worse is he isn't completely wrong. If you get on the wrong side of a police officer like him in this small town, he can and will make your life a living hell. It started as soon as he moved in. First, it was my dog shit in his yard one time. I even bagged it up when it happened, but that wasn't enough. Eventually, I had to build an 8-foot high privacy fence to keep Macy from accidentally crossing his property line. I didn't have the money, but if it would shut him up and having my dog sent to the pound and put to the if it would shut him up about having my dog sent to the pound and put to sleep, it was worth it. That dog is my best friend. Then he complained that she barked too much when she was outside and he couldn't sleep. Macy is your typical dog. She isn't a puppy and only barks when someone knocks or the UPS truck goes by. She is not a loud dog and only goes out for a few minutes at a time, as she is an indoor dog. It's not just my dog, but he always finds something to be an asshole over. My car is too cold. My yard needs to be mowed, but only when he allows it. I hate him. He hates me. I know he hates me. The only thing that he hates more than me is the crows. And that is exactly why I feed the crows every single day. Are you okay there, Beardy?
The only things he hates more is the crows.
Yeah. We're getting
How
into the crow part
How random.
now. Well, some people have a fear of birds. One of my mum's friends has a fear of birds. I
But
don't
it's not a
get
fear
it.
of birds, it's a hatred of birds.
Yeah. After he left, I let Macy out of the bedroom and went to the backyard to feed the crows. Feeding them always made me feel a little better when he would piss me off. Frank hated crows. He loved to garden before he moved here, but he can't anymore because the crows always eat everything he plants. See,
Tra-la-la-la-la.
crows know assholes. Crows know. Like there was this guy who like was an asshole to crows, and he always wore a mask. And then so something happened, and these students put a mask on like a dummy, and all the crows just started attacking it and stuff because they knew this mask and they knew he was an asshole. Like crows are so intelligent. Like that's probably why people are scared of them. But I love crows. They're great.
I like ravens more.
I like both. You know, I think they're both kind of cool, kind of key. He's trying to get everything. My reading is going great today. He has tried everything to get rid of them, like a scarecrow, putting out poison, even trying to shoot them, but nothing works. What started as a petty act of revenge to get the crows to stay in our neighborhood to piss him off has actually turned into something I enjoy. After a while, you start to recognize individual crows. They all look the same at first, but eventually you see some physical differences as well as some personalities. It's said that crows are some of the most intelligent birds in existence, and they never forget a person's face. After a few years of feeding them, I believe it. The crows are some of the most amazing animals in the world. It is just pure luck. Frank also hates them. My favourite bird is one I named Franklin. Oh, that's so cute, Franklin the crow. I mean, no, Spooky. Spooky. Franklin.
Franklin!
Franklin. I named him that because no matter how big of an asshole Frank is, having my favourite crow, named Franklin, is just my way to make sure the name Frank is associated with something good. It is dumb and passive aggressive as hell, but it is little victories like this that help me not let Frank beat me. Franklin sits on a telephone pole outside my yard every day. Morning and night he sits and watches. When I put the food out, he's always the first to eat. The other crows yield to him, at least when it comes to my yard. Sometimes he even brings me body parts of animals he's killed. See, that's the thing about like cats and stuff, right? See, apparently cats bring you dead animals as like gifts and everything, right?
No, if they bring you a dead animal, that means they think you're fucking useless.
Yeah, they're trying to be like, here, human, feed,
They only think you're
eat, you
actually,
and
they think like, oh, this dog, he's just so useless, I'm gonna have to bring him a dead one, just because I can't trust him to kill it. And they only think, they think highly of you if they bring you like a half mauled one, for you to,
yeah,
like they're trying to teach a kitten to to sort of hunt its own food. So it's like, yeah, here, have this half mold one I brought for you. You shouldn't have any problems catching that. Oh, for the love of God, why are you so useless, human?
See, my cat never bought me anything like that, so I guess she thought I was smart.
Or super useless, one or the other.
I mean, there was one time she killed my gerbil. Don't laugh at that. That's a very traumatic experience for me. I had a kamikaze gerbil that chewed out of every cage we got her. And then one day I find her like shredded at the bottom of my stairs, and I just sort of screamed and cried for a bit.
Well, I guess
I
you'd
was
think
mad at
you.
my cat.
I guess you thought it was your gerbil. I suppose there wasn't a lot left of it.
Fuck off. I was mad at my cat for like a month after that, and I avoided her, and I didn't like stroke her, I didn't talk to her, I didn't do anything. And then after that, I was like, okay, I can't keep on doing this. She's too adorable. But she did kill my gerbil, so you know, swings and roundabouts, isn't it? I probably sound a bit like a psychopath right now. Anyway, at first it was weird, but I realized it was a gift. Kind of like I feed him my food, so he is sharing his food with me. It's pretty cool in a morbid kind of way. He is my crow. She's dead. Macy is dead. That asshole killed her. He killed my best friend. I could tell something was wrong with her and got her to the emergency vet as fast as I could, but I wasn't fast enough. The vet did everything he could, but she was poisoned. The vet suspected she was given antifreeze. Apparently it tastes sweet and dogs will drink it. I don't know how he did it, but there's no doubt it was him. He has went too far this time. I'm gonna change that to he has gone too far this time.
Yeah, that would be
Makes more
English.
sense in my brain. Yeah, it makes more sense in my brain. He has gone too far this time. I've got to do something. I went over to his house, banged on his door. He had the door with a smirk on his face. What do you want? He asked. You killed her. You fucking killed her, I said. I know damn well it was you. I haven't killed anybody, he said. I don't know what you're talking about. You killed my dog, I answered. What proof do you have? He smirked at me. And what are you going to do about it? I didn't say a word. I just stared daggers into his eyes. It took everything I had not to punch him in his face. I would have done it too if he wasn't jacked up on steroids, and would have loved more than anything than for me to give him an excuse to beat the shit out of me, then put me in jail after. I should have gone to the station and filled out a police report, since you're my neighbour. I will look into this on myself. I'll give you special treatment you deserve. He pushed the door in my face. Fucking asshole. There was nothing else left to do except go home. He won again. He always wins. I always thought once I grew up, the bullying would stop. The bullies would eventually move on and become adults and get over whatever inferiority complex they had. While some bullies grow up to become asshole cops and use their position to continue to bully others around that they don't like. I grabbed a beer out of the fridge and went outside to feed the crows. I'd be lying if I said I didn't cry. I broke down. She was my best friend and didn't deserve to die that way. I was alone without her. She was all I had that I truly cared about. I looked up from my seat, and on the other side of the porch table, perched on a chair, was my crow, Franklin. He had never come this close before. He didn't move, he just sat and watched me. It was like he knew what happened or noticed Macy was gone and came to comfort me. As he he sat, perched on the chair, watching me. I waited for him to leave, but he didn't. He just stayed. He killed her, Franklin. He did it. I know with all my heart. He's the only one who would do something like that. I thought about putting up security cameras, but I didn't. Maybe she would still be alive if I had. I poured my heart out to the crow. He didn't move. He didn't make a noise. He just sat there like he was listening to me. Somehow, I needed this. There are certain animals where you just like if you talk to them, you feel like you're listening. That they're like they're listening. I can't speak to David.
Clearly.
But yeah, there are certain animals where you talk to them and you think they're listening, right? They just sort of sit there and stare at you while you talk.
Mm.
But there's obviously like, oh, you talk at a dog, the dog's there like just looking at you because it thinks you want something. It's more the cat stares at you because it thinks you want something. The dog stares at you because it thinks you've got something for
No,
them.
the cat stares at you because it's probably going, the fuck is he on about?
Why are you talking to me, human? I ain't a therapist.
Hmm.
Yeah. You won, Franklin. I have to move. I can't live next to the asshole who murdered my best friend.
Moided.
Murdered him in cold blood. I can't believe Americans think we talk like that. Oh, blimey. You murdered my best friend, you did.
Oh,
That's like
blimey,
us.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we don't talk like that. Any Americans listening, stop.
Or
Please.
I don't know, there are some Londoners who talk like that.
Yeah, some. Like, there's a whole other rest of the country. And
A
people
whole,
just
a
can't
whole other
can't
rest
figure,
of the country.
oh, I'm a chimney sweep, or I've gone slightly farmery. Oh,
You've
no.
gone very Dorset. Ooh, ah,
I've
ooh,
gone
ah.
better Dorset. Did I tell you a guy at the pub thought I was from Dorset?
Yeah, you did, and you seemed very offended.
Of course I'd be offended. Red Nottingham, and he just turns around and he's like, I'm from Nottingham, you sound like you're from Dorset. I'm like,
What's wrong with Dorset then?
excuse me? Nothing. I'm just saying that everyone
You
thinks I'm
also
from
seem to
somewhere I'm
be
not from.
you also seem to be offended when people seem to think you're a Brummie.
Yeah, yeah, another guy thought I was from Birmingham. See, I don't get it. Like, my accent's weird. Yes, I have a very mixed accent. It's from all over the bloody place. America, Australia, Scotland, wherever you think. But I'm born and bred Nottingham. I
You don't
don't
sound
sound like I'm
Scottish.
from
You don't
Birmingham.
sound Scottish at all.
I've had that before.
They're very strange people.
Yeah. But so is whoever thinks I'm from Birmingham. I don't sound like I'm from Birmingham. Dorset. Dorset.
Birmingham, Dorset,
Birmingham. Dorset.
Dorset.
We're going to offend some people. But you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I'm pretty
anyway,
sure we've
another
already
tangent.
offended someone.
Probably American.
Probably.
They got offended back when we couldn't figure out what a water heating closet is. Did you know Canadians have milk in bags?
Yeah, so they do in some places in this country.
Yeah. I don't know, I just think it's a little bit strange. Also, we're like one of the only countries that's put like a plastic bowl in our sink. I don't actually understand why we do it. Like,
Because it
yes,
uses
let me
less
put this.
water.
No, you just put less water in the sink. It's just more like let me put a mini sink inside my actual sink. Like, it makes no sense. I guess it might like
Mini
keep the sink
sink,
cleaner.
mini sink, mini sink.
Monorail. Anyway, another tangent. Oh god, this is why you don't have two autistic people doing a podcast. Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, yee. You won, Franklin. I have to move. I can't live next to the asshole who murdered my best friend. I'm sorry. I'm going to miss you, buddy. But wish someone would kill that asshole for what he did. He deserves it for what he did to us. Franklin cried out aloud. I'm not.
Caca.
Is that a good crow noise? Then flew back to his post. I finished my beer and decided to go in for the night. The next morning, I slept in late. I didn't really want to get out of bed and face the day at all without Macy by my side, but I forced myself out of bed anyways. I went to brew a pot of coffee and glanced out the window where I could see that asshole Frank outside in his backyard tending to his shitty garden. I got very sassy. I don't like Frank. He was clearly
We
pissed
don't
off and
like
cursing at.
Frank.
We don't like Frank. We like Franklin. We don't like Frank. He was clearly pissed off and cursing at the crows who had destroyed his garden again. And it I think I'm malfunctioning today, Beardy.
It would appear so.
I think I might need to update the old processor a bit.
Oh
And by
well.
that I mean get some sleep tonight.
Well, you're gonna have plenty of processing juice to drink tomorrow, aren't you?
Yes, I am. The good old Halloween party.
Yeah.
Plenty of processing juice of all different flavours.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh,
In
sorry, had
different
a curry
sized
earlier.
measures and everything.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the already pre-made processor juice, which comes in small cartons. And then
Yeah.
you've got the big bottles of processor juice that you mix yourself with other processor juice. It's great. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Anyway. Was clearly pissed off and cursing at the crows who had destroyed his garden again. It gave me a little smile and a much-needed laugh to know my crows had taken something away from him. I poured my cup of coffee and went and sat outside on my patio. I looked up and Franklin was in his spot. I glanced around the sky and saw crow after crow just sitting on the telephone lines, and then even more crows flying in the sky above. I've never seen so many crows before in my life. Never this many in my backyard area. It was like every crow in our state had congregated. Great word. Outside
Congregated.
my backyard. Congregated, yeah. It's a great word.
Yeah.
But some people say conjugated, which pisses me off.
Conjugate the verb to go.
Conjugate. We've gone British again. Watto, good sir. I can't do that without sounding Australian.
What's that?
What's there? Whenever I do Australian, I sound like a Cockney. I can't win with my accents.
To
I
be
really
fair,
can't.
that's where most of the old Cockneys ended up going.
Yeah,
They
the
were
real ones.
they were all given a second chance on and were totally not forced onto ships and sent there.
Yeah, totally given a second chance on an island that's inhabited by venomous snakes, venomous spiders, venomous air, probably.
Venomous plants
I
as
mean,
well as
with the
poisonous plants,
heat.
poisonous animals, and etc.
Yeah,
etc.
totally given a second chance.
In the
England, what
land
you
of opportunity and such.
do. I thought that was supposed to be America. Oh, hello. God, I'm done. I thought that was supposed to be America. What? Hello?
Hello?
What was that noise? Really?
Hello?
What was that noise?
What?
The weird.
I don't know.
Is that you? Okay, don't, because I'm also like, okay, I am very pissed off about this. Because everybody's lying
Since
to
when have you not been pissed off?
me. You don't know what I'm talking about yet. I am
No,
pissed
but you're
off because
saying,
one
oh,
of you.
I'm very pissed off. And I was like, well, you're going to have to narrow it down.
One of you is lying to me.
Oh, are we?
I bought a Minecraft realm for all of us to play on, and somebody in the middle of all my shit decides to put up this weird, creepy Netherrack face that's on fire and with like signs all around it saying the end is nigh. And all three of you fuckers are saying it's not you.
All three of us?
You, Kit, and my cousin.
I mean,
Bear in mind, my cousin's
haven't
on holiday, so it
haven't
can't
you
be
added
him. He doesn't
Dom?
have his laptop. He doesn't have Minecraft yet.
Yeah.
So, and I got rid of Dan. That's
Red
a
Dan.
long story. Yeah. So Adam's away on holiday, my cousin, so there's no way he could have done it.
That you're aware of.
No, I asked him and he says he hasn't been on since before he went on holiday. And I was online after he went on holiday, and I know that he was not there when he went on holiday. So that leaves you and Kit.
Well, I've been busy building my skyship.
Yeah, why did you have to practice some of the building on my terrain?
It was a blank piece of terrain miles away from the
There is
main
a
town.
rule. There's a rule, good sir. Anywhere there's a torch, it's Ezza's.
Isn't
Don't
there
make me
also a
ban you
rule
off the
about
server.
trolling?
Okay, felling your house of llamas is not trolling.
And the
It's giving you
rabbits?
many, many friends.
And the pandas?
You like the pandas.
I like the panda.
The snotty one.
Yeah, I wish he wasn't. I wish he'd cheer up. I mean, I've done everything to try and cheer him up.
It doesn't. I think that they've all just got different expressions. It's just how it is now. But yeah, so it's either you or Kit. One of you is lying to me.
Right. Your point.
And I will find out who. And if neither of you are lying to me, then I guess we've got a weird Shadow of Israel type situation going on, which I did not sign up for when I made a realm, but I will save the realm if need be.
Are
This
you going to
sounds like
go
a
on an
promo for a
adventure?
series, and it really isn't. I mean, we could. I'll make a new world though, but I mean, this is not a promo for a new series or anything. I'm generally confused about if neither you or Kit did it. Who the fuck made a big creepy face out of Netherrack and set it on fire? Set it on fire! So, yeah, anyway, back to the story. It was a very annoying Minecraft tangent. Um, Frank must have seen the same thing because he was still in his backyard yelling at the crows. I looked back at Franklin, who was still staring at me. He gave a loud
Caw-caw!
that was cry and flew off his spot towards Frank's yard. The other crows near him followed after. I heard Frank scream, "Ah, fucking birds! Ouch, what the fuck?" I looked back and more crows were now flying down into his yard, making loud screeching sounds. I couldn't see what was happening, but I could hear his screams. The sky was filled with crows swooping down, attacking Frank. It looked like a sea of black as the sky was filled with more crows. Where did all these crows come from? On and on the waves of crows would go into Frank's yard and then fly off before the next round would go down. The privacy fence was too high for me to see the carnage on the other side, but his screams were bad enough. Finally, the screaming stopped. Almost as soon as it had started, the sky turned back from black to blue. The only sound I could hear was Frank's wife crying and begging for help. I went around and looked and took a look over in Frank's backyard and saw what was left of Frank. His body had been pecked apart from head to toe. It no longer looked like a person as much as a bloody piece of roadkill. His face was completely pecked and eaten off. His body had been eaten down to the bones in some places. It had only taken a few minutes, but the crows had made short work of him. The sight would have made me sick if it was anyone but Frank. The ambulance and seemingly half the police department had shown up soon after. He was one of their own, but nothing could be done. He was dead. I went back home and grabbed a beer. I went out in my porch and sat down to enjoy this moment. A few minutes later, my crow friend Franklin flew up carrying something in his mouth. He landed on the table in front of me and dropped Frank's bloody eyeball. He shit towards me as he wanted me to have it as a gift. He looked at me and gave me one loud and I returned a smile. He flew back to his spot and stood proud watching. This must be why they call a large group of crows a murder. Dun dun dun.
Da da
See, that
da.
was a good one, right? That was a good one. With Franklin
Yeah.
Crow and an asshole cop and he dies. I like that one. I think it's a longer one, but I quite like that one. um,
Excuse me.
okay. The first comment on it is I hope they pecked off his pecker too.
Ah,
Oh my god. Oh my god.
pecked off
Well,
his pecker.
it's true as well though, because like we were saying before, crows are very intelligent. So obviously, if you're nice to them and then someone does something wrong to you and stuff, like there was this thing going around last year. This isn't true with crows. This is true with like the dogs getting killed by eating stuff. Last year there was this whole thing around Halloween time, and people were putting something in like cans and stuff, and it would like basically explode in the dog's mouth. And it was killing all these dogs because people are assholes. And that really pissed me off. So I was like, fuck man. Like, people are just insane.
Dicks.
Exactly. Like, who the fuck would do that? Like, anyway. So,